Great things, great things, great things. Welcome in to Words on a Higher Note, our space to reflect, reset, rise, and remember who we really are beneath the layers. I'm your host, Jaylen, and I'm glad you're here. Before we begin, a quick reminder. This isn't therapy or medical advice. It's a moment to pause and reconnect with yourself. If you are ever in need of support, please reach out to someone you trust. The title of this reflection is The Weight of Perception. Today I want to talk about something that I watched and felt in real time. This happens frequently. People impress their thoughts, feelings, and expectations of you onto you. I'm in a program, and before we can begin our session, we are grouped by level of completion of assignments. I greeted one of my classmates and asked how their summer went. For a visual, at that moment, they were standing diagonally across from me on my left side, roughly a little more than an arm's length away. While they were answering my question, near the tail end of their answer, they were interrupted. And from what I remember, there were two people questioning this classmate. With their eyes raised and lips playfully twisted, "Wow, you're in this group? And I'm surprised you didn't finish." You could see it. Our classmate became uncomfortable and defensive, rightfully so, and began justifying why they had not completed the assignment, even though they weren't obligated to explain. I hadn't even noticed they had changed their position until they spoke to me. They were now standing next to me on my left and remarked about having to answer for not completing the assignment. I replied to them that it's unfortunate that we are expected to measure up to what others perceive of us. And this made me think, how often does this happen to us? When people's expectations start to press down on us and become a burden we didn't ask for, and we feel we must defend who we are or what we did or didn't do. Are we supposed to live up to other people's expectation of us? Should we have to explain ourselves to stay in their good graces or to complete or maintain the picture they have of us? Should we have to defend ourselves when we don't live up to or meet their perception of us? That's a question we all need to answer. And I think they repositioned themselves to find a different energy. Someone who wasn't passing judgment, even if the questioners may not have said it with malice or intended harm. Also, in hindsight, even though they had a great reason, maybe the classmate was feeling some type of way about not finishing, and they felt exposed, vulnerable, and called out. And as I'm revising this reflection, a realization emerged for me. Why did I add, even though they had a great reason? Am I judging? Why did I use the word great or reason? Am I stuck in my own head about not having a valid reason for not completing the assignment and being in that group also? And what's ironic about the questioning is that we were all part of the same group for the same reasons. The people who were doing the questioning, they didn't complete the assignment either. Here's another moment. It's more personal. Someone commented that they were surprised that I was dealing with a health challenge. For years, I have been and am still sharing what the proper foods to eat are and how to stay healthy. And here I am with the challenge that most likely could have been avoided had I been following, in air quotes, my own advice. Yet I was cheating, again, in air quotes, or not following what I know to be right, or I thought I could slip here and there would be no consequences. I guess I learned a few lessons. That eating out, eating fried whiting, and eating my second favorite snack, potato chips, even with the reduced sodium and made in avocado oil on too regular of a basis, would have me here. And even with me reducing the intake, it wasn't enough for where I was. I am happy to say that I have made a 180 pivot, and I am not consuming anything that will add to my challenge and consuming everything, just about, because I don't eat everything, and I'm consuming everything that will help me change the situation. But this health challenge makes me look hypocritical in their eyes. And maybe going forward, they won't listen to me, even though what I share with them about health and food is correct. And I can somewhat understand why the person was surprised. However, I did become defensive briefly, having to explain why I was dealing with this. Honestly, I'm still being asked. But I have to ask, is it not okay if the person who is teaching you has a slip up or slip ups? I don't think people are trying to publicly shame others. They are looking at us in such high regard that when we act outside of that regard, they don't know how to handle it. And we as a people don't give people the leeway to not be perfect or to have a moment or two when we are not performing at our perceived level. And this gives us room to deflect our own failures or slip-ups. It makes us feel better with our level of discipline when we know others who we hold in high esteem are not following the course 100%. And it may give us reasoning to not do what we say, no, what we're supposed to do. What do you think we should do? If you ever find yourself being questioned or asked to justify your space, first smile. Then say thank you for thinking so highly of me. And third, say, however, I am human and there are times when I may not perform at my highest level, at my highest self. In doing this, we're acknowledging their high regard, because often their surprise comes from a place of respect, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. And you will remind them of your humanity. But don't apologize for being imperfect. We begin to feel intimidated or humiliated when we don't meet someone else's expectations. When it looks like we are consistent in doing what is asked of us and people put us on a pedestal. They expect us to perform at that level all the time. Then we don't. That's not our fault. We are not to blame. When people do this to me now, I immediately stop them. I ask them not to say out loud what I do or what I'm capable of. True story. I was in a group and someone asked me to complete a task. Another person quickly chimed in to say I was good at things like that. And I immediately stopped them from completing their sentence. I didn't need the spotlight. I had already committed to doing it. And even if I had not, I didn't need a cheerleader. And again, I'll say this over and over and over again. Surround yourself with like-minded people. People who are open and actively growing. People who can see the beauty in allowing people to just be themselves. And also laugh through and at the changes you go through. Don't take it so seriously that you start thinking and feeling in a negative way. And stay humble. When people put you up on a pedestal, thank God that you're there, that they think of you like that, because that pedestal can tilt quite easily. And many of us live this life knowingly and unknowingly. We walk around in performance, acting and reacting how others think we should. Love you and be you, and let others make the choice to either accept you as you are or. Before we close, I invite you to take this moment further. If something awakened in you, a thought, a feeling, a moment of clarity, share this reflection with others. Thank you for tuning into Words on a Higher Note, where reflection meets elevation, where grace meets growth, where personal evolution is not rushed, but embraced, honored, and celebrated. Until next time, keep listening for the higher note. Say, be, and it is.